Hi, everybody. Adam Scott here from HaliPad Real Estate. Today, we are talking about the current market and what to expect. It's been a crazy year so far, and we're only into February. This time last year, we saw increases in gains in the market that we had never seen before. And with the plateau in the summer, we thought maybe that was it. Maybe we had reached our ceiling. But here we are, February 2022, and prices are at an all-time high again. We're up significantly since January of last year. So to help us figure out what to expect in the market, I'm bringing in, sorry, somebody from Toronto to have a conversation with them about their market today because they've seen this growth consistently now for quite a few years. So joining me today to talk about the market and what we might be able to expect here in Halifax is Paul Purcell from Royal LePage Urban. Paul, how are you?
Morning.
Excellent.
Good.
Is it?
It's a great morning up in Toronto. We don't have the snow. No, we don't have the snow today that I think you guys have had, but
lots of snow today.
Yeah. But one thing's similar is the markets are all over Canada, but Toronto is used to these boom markets. But this market in particular, and I've been in financial services for over 40 years, and this is probably the worst I've seen it in as far as the tightness and the heat. And we can talk about that later and look forward to that because I think there's a lot of my clients actually are looking to Halifax to get out of Toronto. So there you go.
Yeah, we do have a lot of people interested in coming out here from the Ontario and the Toronto area for sure. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about. We're going to talk about a couple of things or a bunch of things today. But one of the big things that is happening right now, of course, is the increase in market price here. Our average sale price has increased about 27% since this time last year. We're sitting at an average of $597,000 for an average purchase price of a single family home here in Halifax area. What's it like there in Toronto right now?
Yeah. Well, last year we had record growth again. We hit 1.1 million. We were up 17 or close to 18% actually year over year. Keep in mind that's across all the housing segments. And in Toronto, I'm not familiar with Halifax, but in Toronto we have over half our inventory is in condos. So if you think about the average. It's much higher if you're looking at detached. I won't even go there because you can go by segment. But so suffice it to say that we've seen enormous amount of growth consistently. And I look at your 500. That's where we were. $500,000 was where we were 10 years ago in Toronto. And 5 years ago we were in the $700,000 range, and now 1.1. And the odd pause over the last 10 years, but mostly been up.
I mean, to put that in perspective for us, 5 years ago around this time, I mean, our average sale price again for a single family home was about $200. What do I have here? $295,000. So that's really something else. I mean, that's for us too. I mean, just look at 5 years ago, from then until now. So Halifax, we don't have the condo inventory that Toronto has. Our condo inventory is significantly low as well, and the average purchase price for that also has increased significantly because what we're seeing, and this is probably why I have fear of it. I don't want to speculate. You can tell me why. You can correct me. What's happening is because a lot of people are being priced out of the market now. The shift is going to condos, because condos are more affordable. So they are quickly catching up as well. Is that kind of the same thing that's happening there? Or that happened there, I should say?
Yeah, very much so. There was a time a few years ago that a lot of first-time buyers were really trying to get into their detached home. That was their dream. Skipping maybe some of the steps that a couple of generations have had to go through, the townhouse to the semis to the detached, and sort of progress through a number of purchases. There was an attempt, a number of years ago to kind of get rid of those steps and go direct. They've had to take a step back, and a lot of people will say they don't want to be in a condo apartment really long term, but they want to get into the market. So it's a step. So there's a lot more of that. It's just economics. I mean, a detached home in Toronto proper, you're into the $1.6 million average. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
you know, you need such big
Yeah.
incomes to cover
Yeah,
that.
you do.
Right?
You certainly do. What was it like? Oh, yes, no, 10 years ago. It's about you're 10 years ago. You're about where we are right now, right? 500,000.
Five
Yeah.
hundred thousand. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about inventory. Since we're sort of touching on that already.
Yeah.
What is your inventory currently in the market there?
Currently,
Yeah.
I'll give you a perspective on that. Currently, we're running about 10,000 homes across the GTA,
Right.
all classes altogether. Um, and that's about 0.156 of a percentage point of our population in the GTA at
Right.
6.4
Yeah.
million. Two or three, and 10 years ago, relative stages, we were about 2 to 3
Yeah.
times um, versus the population. 2 to 3 times that
Right.
percentage. So not to get hung up on that so much as more importantly in real estate, as you know, Adam, we think of a healthy inventory, which Toronto hasn't had for some
Right. Yeah.
time, is more like 3 months worth of
Yes.
inventory. Today, today in Toronto, I think as of last week, we have 3 weeks worth of inventory. That means if no other house or place goes on
Yeah.
the market, we'll be out. I won't be doing anything, I guess, 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. Well, and we're sitting at zero point 0.4 months supply. So, I guess roughly about, 3 or 4 weeks as well. Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
have very little inventory. Speaking about single family homes, we're only at about 175 right now for the entire population of Halifax, Dartmouth. And the HRM population is at roughly 400 and just over 430,000, I think. And then the population of
Yeah.
Halifax is at 330,000. So, the majority of that is concentrated in
Mhm.
Halifax.
We often say in Toronto there's more realtors than houses to sell. So but that's a part of
Ye-
our own problem,
Yeah,
not for the
yeah,
consumer.
that's certainly the case here.
Uh, Most of our experts believe in Royal LePage that the inventory problem is the number one cause of the heat. I mean, interest rates, and we can go through the laundry list of things that have impacted, but the number one issue is inventory. So, despite different economic predictions that might happen, the market will stay heated. Is our belief until this supply issue is fixed.
And that's the same thing out here too. A lot of experts believe that it's straight up an inventory problem. I mean, unless we get more inventory on the market, it's just not going to lighten up. And yes, agreed. There's many factors that also contribute to it. But again, the main
Yeah,
culprit is the total lack of inventory here in Nova Scotia that's creating
yeah,
this demand. Um,
yeah,
that coupled with, of course, an
yeah.
influx of people to the province over the past few years, and your mortgage rates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Well, thanks again, Paul, for joining me today and having this awesome conversation. If folks want to get a hold of you in Toronto, how do they do that?
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, they can call me at my office at 416-461-9900, or they can email me at rppurcell@outlook.com.
Thanks again for joining me today. And if you like what you watched and you want to watch more, don't forget to hit subscribe.